Amy. It's great to have you here as part of SPAAR's Better and Better podcast. And welcome.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
So I thought it would be fun to introduce you in your new role as 2024 SPAAR President and just ask a series of questions and just have a conversation about some of your thoughts for the coming year and let SPAAR members get to know you a little bit.
Sounds great.
All right, so I will just kick off with a couple first questions. Curious, how long have you been a realtor and what did you do prior to becoming one?
So this is my 20th year as a full-time realtor. Prior to that, I started out actually in the glass and glazing industry, so working with storefronts, windows, commercial work, as well as residential, and also with the automatic entry doors that you see at Cub Foods or Best Buy or other businesses to help with the assistive doors and the ADA compliance with the Disabilities Act way back when. And so the roles from there have been more project management, sales related. So a lot of things just transferred easily into the real estate space to make sure that I could help clients and build a business.
Yeah, it sounds different, but it does sound like it would be transferable skills in some ways. So that's really interesting. Thanks for sharing that. Mm-hmm. I'm curious in terms of SPAAR and you became a member or a realtor, I guess, 20 years ago. How did you get involved in SPAAR as a volunteer?
My broker at the time, Jan Hetwer-Doomer, was very involved with the association. And so following her footsteps in terms of wanting to build a successful business, I saw that could be something that would help align me with other peers that had successful businesses and an opportunity to continue to learn. And so I was involved with different classes, different information sessions that the association offered at that time, and just continued to grow and become involved. In 2008, I started out with a task force called Emerging Markets, because at that point we could already see that there were some disparities for communities of color, the handicapped community, our veterans, and so helping learn about where there might be opportunities to help them become homeowners was important at that time, and it's just continued on as well.
Nice. You may not remember this, but when I started on staff about 7 years ago, I distinctly remember there was an event in the front and somebody on staff said, "That's Amy Peterson over there. Go sit down. She'll be a wealth of knowledge for you." And I remember having an early on conversation. So.
And that's a lot of times where it starts, is just having that conversation and getting to know people. And there's so many exciting people that I've met along the way and along this journey that are still friends and still peers in the industry today.
Yeah, I witnessed that a lot with members. It's really fun to see and just to hear the conversations and ideas that are shared.
Definitely.
So why was being important? Let me back up. You've talked a little bit about why things were important, but how do you gauge kind of somebody who may or may not want to get involved in SPAAR? Maybe they see all this and wonder, well, how do I kind of fit in or break the ice? Or what would be a good kind of first step?
Well, I think one of the things is, especially as new members are looking at, what do I do first? There's so many things to think about in terms of building my business. It's really a matter of looking at where your strengths are and then building on those, because that's where your comfort level is and that's where you can really shine. And I think if you look for those passions and look for those connections, getting involved in your local association helps connect you with other like-minded individuals, but then also people that may have different experiences that you've had that just make your experience level and your ability to be a resource for your clients that much better, because we're staying up to date in trends. We're looking at different possibilities in terms of problem solving, red flags that might come up where we can spot those for our clients and help make that a smoother transaction for them. So it's not just where you pay your dues and, get some of your education by networking and getting to know other realtors, other parts of the business. It really builds a network that helps in terms of growing your business and partnering for getting through some of those tougher times in your business where there's challenges and opportunities to continue to grow as a person as well as a realtor.
Absolutely. Well, and I know too, from being at SPAAR, there really are both committal and non-committal opportunities to get involved. It could be as simple as just attending an event and networking, or getting a little bit more involved and getting to see members on more of a regular basis. So there's, in my opinion, something for everyone.
Definitely. And it really depends on where your interest lies, or maybe where you want to add some skills or some knowledge level to your business, because there are book clubs, there are other discussions going on, there's committee work, and everybody's invited to attend. You know, if you want to check out a committee just to see kind of what they're working on, who's involved, you're always welcome to sit in. And we just encourage you to reach out to the staff person to make sure that we can get you the information and let you know if they're meeting virtually or if it's a hybrid model, which works really well because we cover such a large service area of 12 counties that in itself can be a commitment sometimes. So I would just encourage people to get involved and check out some of the events that happen. And you know, there's a different commitment level for how much you want to be involved or how much it interests you. But there's just so many opportunities to grow as a realtor and as a professional and increase our network. So we might be across the table from each other in a transaction, and that helps give that other realtor a confidence level that you can get the job done because they've met you and they've had conversations with you. So that's invaluable, especially when we have low inventory and multiple offers.
Absolutely. And that is what I experience and witness a little bit. And it really is fun to hear those conversations. You touched on something, though, that's making me want to just share. Because we do cover a 12-county service area, not everything's in person, too. The book clubs are virtual. Some committees are virtual. Some committees do a little bit of both, depending on the month. So there's opportunities if you want to get involved but can't physically be at SPAAR as well.
Definitely. And I think that's important as we go forward, especially post-COVID. There was a whole different way that we engaged with our members, but we still wanted to keep that value moving forward. Mm-hmm. And so as we continue to navigate that space and look at what the best is for our members and how our members want to engage, that's an important convenience factor, if you will, mm-hmm. to just accommodate crazy schedules and the fact that we're running with clients at the drop of a hat sometimes, especially if it's buyers. So we just are looking at all of that in terms of the planning and the volunteer leaders and staff that really keep things going here at SPAAR.
And it works.
It does. So, very well.
Well, let's fast forward a little bit. In your role this year as 2024 SPAAR President, I have a few, I guess, more targeted specific questions. One of them, just simply, what are you most excited about for this year coming up or going forward? You know, here we are right at the end of February, but 10 more months to go. So what excites you?
You know, we have a great team of leaders in place and a staff that works very lean and mean to support all of the members here. And so one of those things is our new CEO. We've started the search for the right fit for our culture, our kind of spirit here at SPAAR, and somebody's that's going to lead us into the future years as SPAAR to continue to be a relevant association to our members. And so that's really exciting to see come forward. And then the other part of it is I'm excited to meet more of our members. That's really important. And to be able to talk to members, engage with our members is actually one of my goals for this year, because that's so important. And especially post-COVID, getting people to re-engage and help them to see what's going on here at SPAAR, I think is really important, because our business is important to us. And for some people, it's their only money source, their career at this point. So we want to make sure to partner with our members and let them know what's going on.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I know that you have been doing the rounds and visiting the different committees that SPAAR offers, so you've met a lot of members that way. But talk a little bit more about some of your other ideas for getting to know members.
One of the things I'm doing, and we're starting in mid-March, is Coffee with the President. And so I'm visiting all 12 counties, and we've set up initially places like Faribault and Red Wing, and then also Mora and Pine City. And then we'll be adding additional counties from there. So I'm reaching out to the brokers, and then we're publishing the information in SPAAR News. So any members, any brokers that want to come out and just have a conversation. I'd love to hear about what's important to your business, some of the changes that you're seeing, some of the challenges that you're seeing, some of the opportunities, so we can partner better with you for your success. And then also, if you just have questions about what's going on at SPAAR, what's coming up, I'll have that information available too. But really, it's just a way to stop out for however long that you're available. Maybe it's 15 minutes, maybe it's an hour to visit, but I want to give you that opportunity as members throughout our service area to feel like your voice is being heard and have the chance to meet you face to face.
That'll be great. That's really nice. So no really specific agenda, but just more that conversation.
Exactly. So, it's more of a listening session.
Yeah, well, that's a great way. And hopefully you'll take that feedback and share it back with staff so that we can hear and address things or communicate things as appropriate too.
Exactly. We do surveys with our members every 3 years, but then we break that down from a strategic plan every 3 years into a business plan that fits with our pillars as an association and is really truly member driven. Everything that we do, we ask, how does this benefit the members? And that's something that I don't know that our membership typically understands or sees unless you get involved as a volunteer. But that is an important part of it. And by getting involved, you have more of a voice in that. But I also want to learn what's important to the members as I get to know more people throughout our service area, because there's different challenges, different opportunities, depending on what part of those 12 counties that you're in. There's some that are more larger city focused here in the Twin Cities, but we have some very rural areas as well. And so the opportunities and the information and the challenges are all different throughout. And so we want to make sure that we stay aware of those and figure out a way to make sure that our members feel value in their membership. It
definitely does make SPAAR unique in that way. And I would just echo 100%. SPAAR is so member-driven, more than many places I've ever seen in terms of a work environment. And I think it's really neat.
It is. And the other part of the goals that I have for this year is really about developing our future leaders. And so we have a great team in place for our board of directors, in our committees, things like that. But there's all sorts of opportunities that still are available for people to get involved, see what's going on in the association, and see if they want to do something in terms of being a volunteer leader. So if you have questions about it, or you want more information about how you can become more involved at SPAAR, certainly reach out to one of us for more information. Talk to your broker, talk to staff, because that's important too, to make sure that the future of SPAAR continues to be strong and member-driven going forward.
Yeah. Well, and you alluded to earlier, you can come and just check out a committee without having to commit to it, and you can do that anytime throughout the year. So there are ample opportunities.
Definitely. And we just hope that our members take advantage of that, because it's a service and it's an opportunity for them to continue to grow and build their business.
100%. So kind of moving on, let's see here. Some of your hopes and goals and how they align with SPAAR. I know you talked a little bit about some of the different things you want to do. Did you want to expand on other areas, or was there anything else you wanted to share in that regard?
The theme that I kind of focused on for this year tagged on to NAR's program, Ignite Others. And so really, I think it's important for us to be lighting the way home for our members, helping their clients find that dream home and that opportunity for home ownership and get ready for that, whether it's through financial literacy or helping them understand their options for payment options if they need financing, and learning about the down payment assistance coming forward. And then there's also the key to light the way home for our members back to SPAAR. And so there's so many things in that between helping our clients and then helping our members that I think is a key focus, especially post-COVID, that we really refocus on our business and what we need to do to be successful.
Yeah, absolutely. You talk a little bit about the connectivity, and I think that's so true. What would you say for 2024 are some changes or initiatives maybe that you've experienced and how they impact the realtor or potentially the clients you work with?
I think the biggest thing is a lot of the lawsuits that just kind of weigh heavy on our hearts because we believe in this career, and a lot of the media is more negative focused. But I think if we focus on the positive aspects in terms of what we can do in our discussions, to just think a little bit more about our value proposition and all of the crazy things that we end up doing for clients to go the extra mile every day that the general public just has no idea we actually do for our clients. It's not just about getting that purchase agreement accepted. We are therapists, we are cheerleaders, we are problem solvers. There's just so many hats that come along with that, and time that is spent, that it's not just a matter of putting a sign in the yard and putting it in the MLS and crossing our fingers that a listing is going to sell, or that the buyer is going to buy the first thing that they see. Sometimes that does happen, but you might have clients that you work with for multiple years. And so I think talking more about our value proposition and what makes us unique in terms of our service offerings to clients and customers in terms of what goes on in the industry, setting those expectations, it's really a great opportunity for us to shine and educate the public as far as what we actually do and what's going on behind the scenes to make their transaction as smooth as possible.
I know SPAAR from time to time has tried to share those value of a realtor stories, and they are never ending. You know, sometimes it's helping pack a box, you know, and it's like you said, it's the therapist role, it's the motivator, it's a little bit of everything. And the stories are always there. It's always a new client. So I concur 100% with what you're saying, and just, you know, it's endless. It really is.
It is. And by sharing that information, it's so important that we give our clients options throughout the process and help educate them along the way. And I think in Minnesota, we have some advantages because some of our forms go above and beyond other states in the country. But there's still lots of opportunity for us to show the public that we're not a commodity industry, that we're not all alike. And so it's important to really think about what your individual strengths are, what my individual strengths are, and what I offer, what, you know, their options in terms of marketing, or their options in terms of what extra things I do to help them locate a home that maybe isn't even listed yet, but that maybe I have that opportunity to talk to other agents at the association and events throughout our service area and maybe find something that another agent has coming up that we might be able to talk about,
right.
Or at least keep tabs on to be able to help our clients. And so there's a lot of different things that we can do in terms of providing value to our clients, but we have to talk to them about it.
Exactly. And then heartwarming when you can actually answer their need, whatever that may be.
Exactly. It's a win-win for everyone.
Right. So in your view, what would you consider to be one of the most significant trend or innovation in real estate today? And how does that affect your business for better or worse?
I would say the biggest trend we're seeing right now is related to artificial intelligence, or AI, because as agents, we've typically heard that AI is not going to replace us as realtors, but realtors using AI will replace those realtors that aren't. And so as we look at the opportunities and the advantages, we still have to watch out for those fair housing terms and verbiage and things that relate to our code of ethics, because AI doesn't necessarily know all of those things, but it is an opportunity to become more efficient at some of the things that we do. Maybe it's a matter of helping us be better communicators in the sense of changing the tone a little bit from our message to maybe make it more friendly or warm or welcoming. Maybe it's a matter of focusing on that kind of the target industry, the target buyer for a home, and understanding that your message is more geared that way. It might be a matter of helping to put together a marketing plan or some sort of an advertising plan, or to help you maybe roll out some of your marketing to your sphere, because we really want to be connecting or reconnecting with our sphere to make sure that we're building those relationships. And so there's a lot of opportunities to be able to use the advantage of AI to help us become better, more efficient, and maybe fill in some of those things that aren't necessarily strengths for us personally. But again, we just have to make sure that we review it and make sure that we put our lens on with our realtor cap, to look at the code of ethics and fair housing in terms of the message and the type of advertising and things like that we're doing.
Right. Yeah, that's a great point about AI. It's also kind of fun sometimes to write something and then see what AI says and see how they compare.
Exactly.
And how close it is. But you're right. AI doesn't have a brain per se. So to have the knowledge base of the realtor is still always going to be right at the center of importance.
And AI is more focused on what's happened in the past and gathering that information. So we can see the trends and kind of where we need to be as an industry. And so that's where it still takes that human touch to combine both of those to make it an effective message.
Yep, absolutely. So going back to members again and just kind of the involvement, if somebody were to come in the door here, what would they expect or what should they expect?
Well, there's a lot of different activities going on, really, because there's a lot of different members in our association and different needs for those members. And so coming up, there's an education blitz that's coming up March and April to help you complete that part of your requirements as a realtor here in Minnesota. There's actually the Code of Ethics. So that's separate from the Minnesota requirement. That's an NAR requirement, an association requirement to do that every 3 years. And so this cycle ends on the 24th. So if you haven't checked it, log into your SPAAR.com and look under your photo, and it'll show if you've met that requirement or not. If not, there's on-demand education, and we are offering that Code of Ethics course for free until June 30th. And so you can get credits. You can also complete that requirement and not have to be scrambling at the last minute.
Yes, let's do it end of the year this year. So
exactly. And so there's other topics with our on-demand education. So you can do it at night with a cup of coffee in your pajamas or just whenever it works into your busy schedule. There's book clubs, there's committee work. There are different things related to Fair Housing Month coming up here in April that our Committee for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion is putting together. There are opportunities like Realtor Day at the Capitol or Housing Day at the Capitol coming up on March 4th. There's other opportunities throughout the year. We have a housing affordability task force that's working on different initiatives. Our government affairs group has a lot of advocacy type discussions, just keeping tabs on what's going on in our communities and helping to make sure that protects property rights and home ownership in those areas where our members can get involved. And so there's so many different topics. There's different leadership topics. Each year, Leadership SPAAR asks for volunteers to apply to the program. And so there's additional programs that they can go through a number of sessions throughout the year to be able to grow their business and grow their skills as a realtor. And so it's really just a matter of checking out the website and staying tuned to the e-news that comes out every Monday and just finding out what fits with your business and where your passions are. There's a lot to do here.
Yeah, and one fun thing that is just launching right now that you may want to share with clients or realtors may want to share with their clients is an annual coloring contest. And it's in relation to Fair Housing Month, and it's in some of the newspapers throughout our jurisdiction. It's also available on SPAAR.com. It's in the newsletter. Basically, it's a coloring page that people of all ages can fill out, send into SPAAR, and potentially win a prize. So kind of a fun way to educate and learn and have fun with it.
It is. And that's just one of the many tools that SPAAR provides, where you can reach out to your sphere and not be asking, who do you know that wants to buy or sell, that message, but actually provide value. And if they have children, hey, have you heard about this coloring contest that's coming up about fair housing? Would you like me to send you a link to the form? We can check it out. Or here's where you can find the information. There's different events like that and different initiatives that the committees focus on throughout the year, again, to partner with you and give you ways to build your business and reach out, reconnect with your sphere. So it's just exciting to see.
Yeah, important messages in a fun package, so to speak. So what else? What else do you want to talk about, or do you want to share?
Well, there's a lot of the statistics coming out of 2023 that were flat, that there was just all sorts of national news that everything was negative and icky. And I'm just really excited by the energy and the positive numbers that are starting to happen with 2024. There's also incredible down payment assistance programs coming out through the first generation down payment assistance. And so it's important that our members really follow that information and get to know the different programs that are out there, because each one has its requirements and different stipulations in terms of how it can be used. But what an exciting opportunity for us to be able to help more people have those conversations that maybe they didn't even think that they could qualify to purchase a home. There's still a lot of myths out there that you need 20% down or you need all of this extra money. And we want to make sure that they can be successful as homeowners and talk about budgets, talk about how that process works. But it's also the opportunity to have those conversations and be the hero and really make that dream of home ownership come true. Because there's so many people out there that we found that financially can afford to buy a house and keep the maintenance and really grow that part of their lives, because stable housing is so important to so many other things in our lives. And part of it's just not knowing that that's available to them. And so we have the exciting opportunity as realtors to reach out and really have those conversations. And I'm excited by our realtors that are really stepping up and having those conversations with our school-aged children that, there's a new program through the state in terms of the financial education requirement that's coming up. And so it's another opportunity for realtors to get involved in their community and build some of those relationships that might help in terms of growing your business down the road. Maybe not right now, but some of those conversations are key in terms of building our business. So
opening the door to possibility for sure.
Yes, we have this wonderful opportunity to become guides in the process rather than gatekeepers. And it's just, there's a positive energy around that. And to see some of the realtors just light up when they talk about some of those relationships and some of those transactions, really that's where a lot of us got in the business, and that's what holds in our hearts to get us through some of those more challenging days, is that we are making dreams come true and we are helping problem solve for people to really make a difference in their life. And that's so important to me personally, to make that difference and to leave that legacy and to be able to continue to meet people and help them through that and gain wonderful friendships in the process. It's not just a transaction, it's something that continues on. And that's really an exciting part of our industry and our opportunities to serve people as realtors.
Yeah, and you never know where that can lead. That can be the ripple effect that just starts a generation. And, generation can educate the next generation. You never know what impact you're having on somebody.
It is. And real estate is a relationship business. So as we look at our business, and those of us that have been in the business for a while, you might have helped one family member purchase many years ago. And then that next generation is now coming of age where they're looking at at buying a home, or maybe it's a family that is looking at purchasing a home for their child to start growing their credit as they go through college, or there might be babies born or deaths in the family that you're helping build that relationship over time in terms of what preparations do we need to make for downsizing or preparing for that next move. There's all sorts of things that we can do now to help make sure that we have a successful business in the next few years or maybe even longer. But it all starts with a conversation and starts with the opportunity for us to share our story and find ways that we can help other people.
Yeah. Well, and from a SPAAR perspective, we try to make it easy where we can. Right now, you mentioned the down payment assistance program, and there's an article in the current newsletter and on our website. So if interested to learn more, check that out. And just, trying to provide those tools. So hearing what you're sharing is really helpful to just make sure not only do members have the opportunity to come in, but we can also provide the information to meet members where they're at.
And having those conversations with our members helps us to make sure that our programs continue to serve them in the years going ahead. And so that's why it's important that we continue to have members get involved to be able to share their voices and share what they're seeing in their businesses and in the industry, so we can make sure that we continue to be relevant and a good partner to our members well into the future.
Yeah, well, I love having you here and talking about all this. Your enthusiasm is very obvious, and I think it's going to be a really exciting year ahead.
It is, and I'm excited to meet more of our members throughout 2024. So I hope they reach out and ask your volunteer leaders if we can be of help.
So, well, great. Well, thank you. Thanks so much for coming in and having this conversation.
Thank you, Jennifer.